my name is Philip Lowe, and I'm the Governor of the Reserve Bank of Australia. I'll take any questions you guys have about what the RBA is doing right now.
Yes, Mr. Lowe, I have a question. So I've heard about Commonwealth Bank, Westpac, ANZ and NAB, but what is the RBA? Are they listed on the ASX?
Good question. So the RBA is what we call a central bank. So we've got commercial banks like ANZ, NAB, the Commonwealth Bank of Australia. The RBA is what we call a central bank, and it's where these commercial banks get their money from. So the cash rate is actually the interest rate in which we charge commercial banks to borrow our money. Does that answer your question?
Oh, thanks for commenting on that, Mr. Lowe. But what on earth is the cash rate? Right now, is it high or is it low? What is it right now? And if you guys only deal with the central banks, then why do us smaller people have to know what you guys do? Could you please comment on that, Mr. Lowe?
So the cash rate right now is at 0.25%. And this is actually an extremely low interest rate compared to what we have normally. And the reason that that's the case is because of what you guys probably know, it's the coronavirus pandemic that's happening right now. So because of a lot of people can't go out because of lockdown and things like that, a lot of people have been spending money at businesses. And that means businesses who borrow a lot of money from the bank and need that kind of funding from consumers. They're struggling a lot right now because they're not getting that money from consumers. So we've been forced to lower the interest rate to 0.25% to help support them and help them borrow more money to fund things such as rent, and also to encourage consumers to buy more things to support those businesses and support that circular flow. So that's the reason why our cash rate's really low at 0.25% compared to normally last year, in which it was 0.75%.
So I actually know a little bit about the Reserve Bank, and I know that you guys are the only ones that are allowed to print money. So to reverse the effects of coronavirus on our economy, why can't we just print more money and give it to those small businesses who are really heavily affected and distribute it amongst the whole population?
So that's actually a very interesting question. So the reason that we don't just print a ton of money is because that actually leads to something that we call inflation. And inflation is when the prices of everything, like every good and service, like bread or like McDonald's, all those goods and services increase. And what happens when they increase? It makes your money or your purchasing power less valuable. So if we gave everyone money, instead of buying bread for say $2, you'd probably have to buy it for $8. And that means that overall, we think that if you were to if we were to print money, then a lot of people would lose their ability to buy, to obtain goods and services, and that's what we really want as the Reserve Bank of Australia. And we also think that a lot of people that have put their money into bank accounts to save and earn that kind of money, because that money is now less powerful, they lose that kind of money, and we think that that's harmful, and we don't want that to happen.
Good point. So I don't see why not the Reserve Bank cannot just lower our taxes. If we have less taxes to pay, we have more money to spend elsewhere. Can you please comment on that, Mr. Lowe?
Oh, no. So you're mistaking the Reserve Bank of Australia for the government. So the Reserve Bank of Australia is an act of Congress, and we're not affiliated with the government. So the government is involved with budgetary policy, also called fiscal policy, and they deal with all the taxes that you're talking about and how they spend that tax. So we're not involved with that. We're just involved with the cash rate.
That's right, Mr. Lowe. I think all of us Australians can agree if the price of Macca's goes up, we're not going there anymore.
That's it, Alan. That is the law of supply and demand that we as the RBA regulate heavily so that we can promote economic prosperity to all Australians. This is illustrated by the interest rates I was talking about before. So when we think that spending is too little or people are too disincentivized into buying goods and services, what we can do as the Reserve Bank of Australia is actually lower the interest rate. So lowering the cash rate actually makes borrowing money easier for consumers. And that means that they're more likely to borrow money and use their money to spend it on products that are produced by producers. This means that we can stimulate the economy and increase economic activity by lowering the interest rate. However, if we think that inflation is going too fast, or like the prices are increasing too fast, like your Big Mac, which let's say that it's now worth $10 instead of $5.80, we can actually slow down economic activity and stabilize the economy by increasing the cash rate. So thanks everyone for coming to this press conference. Really enjoyed the questions.